All right, guys, this is the Angryprepper. So today's video is going to be another prepper movie critique on Black Summer. Now, for those of you that watched it, I know a lot of you thinking, wow, that was a bad show. Now, the show was decent, wasn't the greatest. The acting wasn't all there. But nonetheless, it was a show that we can learn from. So before I jump into it, Black Summer is a Netflix TV series, if you will, starring Jamie Presley and Christine Lee and Justin Chu. So, the synopsis goes, it's a zombie apocalypse, and they're weeks into it, and now the government is asking people from certain locations to leave. They're trying to relocate them. So it takes place in the middle of the pandemic, which is pretty cool. Somebody did say that this was a prequel to Z Nation, which is on, I think, the Sci-Fi Channel, and it was a prequel to that. So it's like the beginning of it. So anyway, with Black Summer, it's a decent show, guys. I mean, yeah, some people will be like, oh, that's not realistic. But here's why it is realistic. Now, in the movie, these people are not preppers. These people are regular humans that do stupid shit. You got to keep that in mind, guys. Not everyone is going to rise to the occasion. Not everyone is going to make the right call. So what Black Summer taught me is that people that are untrained and not ready respond exactly the way they did in that show. Keep that in mind. So once I was done watching the show and I was sitting there going, man, this is kind of stupid. What are these people doing? It dawned on me when I watched another episode again that the director made it a point to show that these are regular people and not preppers. These are not people who are ready for the apocalypse. These are not people who are ready for a zombie apocalypse, right? These are not people who are ready for the end of the world. These are regular people who are rolling with the punches. I thought that was pretty good. So now, when you're watching the show, you start to point out, things are pointed out to you actually when you're watching the show. You're like, well, why the hell did they go about that situation this way and not that way? And I don't want to give too much away for those of you who haven't watched the show. But I am going to talk about one scene at the end, the last episode that is, right? And the last episode has a scene at the end where there's this giant shootout. And the shootout happens because the zombies are in front of people, regular, ordinary citizens who do not know how to shoot, and they have to get to the stadium. And the stadium is supposedly like a pickup zone so that they can get out of here. So while this scene goes down, you see the starring character, Jamie Presley, and her crew. They show up, and as you look around, more people start popping up. And then the zombies start coming out of, like, you know, where the hell they're coming out of, behind buildings and trees and shit like that. So now it's like a face-off. And everybody has guns. Now they start getting into it, and they start shooting the zombies and trying to lessen the amount of zombies they have to go through. But then it gets crazy. Then they start shooting one another. That shows you that there was no training amongst anyone there. Their gun control was disgusting. People were shooting each other and making these oddball mistakes because they were not trained. This is where the prepper critique steps in. As a prepper, all of us, we need to be weapons trained. That situation right there showed you what happens when you're not weapons trained, when you're not cognitive of the gun, the dangers of it, how to move with it, how to move and shoot, right? So there are a lot of gun schools, where you can learn how to shoot and move. Now, Mike Glover's School of Fieldcraft Survival, he has a bunch of shooting courses. I went down to Blackwater years ago. I'd need to retrain, obviously. That was years ago. Blackwater was then turned to U.S. Training Center, which was then disbanded. I don't even think they exist anymore. But there are a lot of other schools you can go to. 6 Hour, right, if I'm not mistaken, they have a school. So you can go to these different shooting schools and learn how to shoot basic to move and shooting. And these people showed you that they didn't know what the hell they were doing with the gun, let alone moving and shooting at the same time. That last scene was chaotic. But the other part of the show that I'd like to discuss is teamwork. There was no teamwork with anyone there. Everyone was at odds with each other, and that's the realistic approach to running into people as you're getting away from whatever you're getting away from during a disaster. So we'll take the show, for example, the zombie apocalypse. People are meeting up with one another from all over the United States. All over that area, rather. And so now you're butting heads. You're running into people you wouldn't normally talk to. You're running into people that you're going to butt heads with because they think they're the leader over you, right? There are people who are looking for leadership. So you're running into all these different personalities, if you will. And now you guys are learning how to work together. You guys are learning how to work off each other. This enters a prepper group because guys in prepper groups, people butt heads all the time. Right? And you have to learn when to pull back from butting heads with another person in your group. Understanding how people operate and how I need to, as a leader, which I'm not a leader, guys, but as a leader of the organization or someone who's running the organization, I guess I needed to be more sympathetic. Maybe. That's the problem. When you're running with different people, you're running with different groups. You learn these things as you go along. In the show, they teach you how to, they don't teach you how, they show you how people are with butting heads, how people from different walks of life are not always going to get along. It's not going to be the kumbaya moment that we always see in movies. So that, again, that movie hit that aspect as well, and I was like, that was pretty cool. So guys, again, Black Summer was a very good show. I enjoyed it after I understood what was going on. So initially when I was watching, I was like, this stupid show. What are these people doing? Why are they doing that? Why did she do that? Why did this guy, treat that guy like this? So then you get the gist. You start understanding what it is. It's people, not preppers. So when you watch these movies, guys, about survival situations, you got to understand these people are not preppers, right? The Walking Dead is a classic example of people not being preppers. That show, they started developing not even prepper skills, but survival skills throughout the years of them dealing with the zombie apocalypse. The same thing goes for Z Nation. Z Nation, they're in the beginning of the zombie apocalypse. So now, hopefully in season 2, they show you how these people became more adapted to their situation. Now, there is a guy in the show that winds up being a coward, and I thought they were going to kill him off, but they don't. Let's see I hope he actually shows up in season 2. There was a lot of things, like I said, that they did in the show. There was a supermarket scene where the zombies were in it, and you were like, what the hell was that, right? You're like, what the hell's going on? And then you look at the show again, you're like, okay, again, they're thinking like people. Guys, for preppers, we can't watch every movie and go, I wouldn't have did that. Right, you wouldn't have did that, but the rest of the people would have. And what it also teaches you guys is that when you're dealing with people who are not trained, who are not hip to being preppers or homesteaders or survivalists, you got to deal with the attitude of them and their bullshit and breaking them down to understand that this is what you need to do to survive. Hence, teamwork, right? So when you have a group of guys, a group of people who want to break off from your group, you got to let it happen, right? You don't fight it. In that show, people broke off to do their own thing. You don't sit there and argue with them. Don't leave, don't. Fuck them, bye. See you later, right? It's the same thing in the real world, guys. You gotta let people go. In the show, you'll see that kind of dynamics. In The Walking Dead, you see it as well, but in The Walking Dead, it's more of like a tear-jerking moment. Don't leave, please. Yo, you're gonna bounce. I understand that you wanna, like, A, look for your family, B, scour the land for more survivors. That makes sense. But anyway, guys, with Black Summer, great TV show, great to binge watch. It's on Netflix now. They are coming out with season 2. They just, as of today, I just so happened to see the update. As of today, they started production again. So we should be seeing the show by the end of, or the middle of next year, hopefully. Other than that, guys, you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr, and Twitter. I also have a podcast, so you can follow me on whatever listening service you're using. I'm transferring a lot of my videos over to audio now, so you can listen to me on there as well. All right, guys, thank you for watching.